So, Jordan, I have always thought that, Greg the Elder was truly the greatest statesman of the 19th century,
David, zip it.
We already covered Zip Man.
Zip it.
Actually, Jordan, give me 1 second. Ravioli's with a squeaky toy, so I'm going to take that from her. Give me 1 second. Problem? No, squeaky time. Too loud. It's my squeaky. You have it back later. You're a dog. No. Get out here, because I got to do adult things like record a podcast about a webcomic manga. I don't know. I'm tired. Leave me alone. Man, I'm sure I'm glad my mic was muted. All right.
It's funny because, you're definitely leaving that in. I'm going to make you leave that in. But regardless of that, I'm looking at the time. It is now time for The Chainsaw Minute.
I'm David, and this is your dose of Chainsaw Man. You can join us every Friday where we see what masterpiece Fujimoto put out.
I'm Jordan, and if you're looking for a regular Shonen Flop goodness, you can find our next episode to hear a rerun of Tokyo Demon Bride story because David is getting married.
Heck
oh my
yeah!
God! He's getting married! Oh my God!
Rachel going from girlfriend to fiance to finally waifu for laifu.
David's getting a waifu.
IRL.
Yeah. 3D waifu.
Oh my goodness. And just a heads up, these recordings are open to everyone, so listen in and chat along with us on the Shonen Flop Discord every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern when there's a new chapter out or something goes on and I had to reschedule it. Sorry, folks. I appreciate everyone who could make it. You can find a link to it in the show notes or on our site. And Jordan, what was your devil this week?
It's the sick devil.
Down with the sickness?
I'm down with the sickness. When I get sick, man, it lingers for multiple weeks. I'm not nearly as bad as I was, but it's not gone. And it's really annoying.
Aw.
How about you, David? What's your fucking devil?
I got the early flight devil where I gotta get up at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow, go to fucking the airport and fly to Florida for that silly wedding of mine.
I feel like our main devils have consistently been that we're sleepy. Yeah.
If people need an alternative one, I burn the shit out of my mouth, so it's really been hard. It's been hard to talk for the last 2 days, so maybe the hot soup devil. As opposed to the good soup devil.
Ah, yes.
Good soup. All right, but Jordan, enough about that. Give us a plot summary for...
Chapter 148, Room 606. So this guy is still pointing at Denji, accusing him of being a Chainsaw Man wannabe just because he's a cool, disrespectful teen. Fumiko tries flashing her badge, but they point out that a public safety guy also already transformed, so that don't mean shit. They demand that Denji show them his chest, which would not dissuade them because he does in fact have a starter.
He does.
Quan Chi jumps in and tells them to run, and actually takes a bullet in her arm for them. Damn. Quan Chi, total bro. Meanwhile, Aza, now missing her right arm, is blocking Yoshida's sword with her left hand, Popcorn David.
Yoshida wraps Asa up in his octopus, and she uses a sword made out of her apartment to slice it into pieces. Realizing she's more powerful, Yoru dashes at Yoshida, but her increase in power makes her fly into a building. When Yoru sees that Yoshida already ran away, she jumps to the ground, sees the road engulfed in fire and corpses, and smiles because the world is remembering war.
So, David, at first, I just want to say that this made me realize that the first sentence you read, Yoshida wraps Asa up in his octopus, and she uses the sword made out of her apartment to slice it into pieces. I just want to hand that sentence to people completely out of context who have not read Chainsaw Man and just ask them what they think it means.
I think that's fair, but that's why we love Fujimoto. And man, this was a chapter that took 5 seconds to read, but it was actually 18 pages, so I don't know how he does it.
Dude, he's good at pacing. These things just go fucking fast. It's the opposite problem. It's not a problem. It's the opposite thing that bad manga typically have, where you spend 3 hours on 3 chapters.
Yeah.
Nah, this shit goes fast.
I just still love how people think Denji is faking about being Chainsaw Man, and it's such a great trope when superheroes try and say they're a superhero and no one believes them. It's like how Charlie Chaplin lost a Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest.
I heard that Dolly Parton did that
Yeah.
too. This may just be one of those urban legends that gets applied to different celebrities. I don't know. Or maybe multiple celebrities have just done it. I could see both happening.
Yeah. And so, Jordan, what was something that stood out to you as something you really enjoyed about this chapter?
The Room 606 sword is such a good idea. I love that
Yeah.
the entire apartment is just a sword. I think that's really cool.
I think it's interesting how our powers are evolving because it's actually something in Chainsaw Man. No one really changes or comes up with new techniques very often. It's kind of one of the more unshonen-like elements of a series I would still consider a battle shonen.
Yeah, I will say, the panel where she dashes at him with her sword, I had no clue what the fuck was happening.
I had some issues. People on Reddit said the art is better, and I'll agree, but there were still some very awkward things. Like Yoshida, when he holds the sword with both his hands, looks very awkward. It does feel like I kind of wish there had been an additional page for some of the pacing of the Yoshida and Yoru fight.
Yeah, the Yoshida-Yoru fight got a little bit confusing. The art in this chapter was a little bit shakier than usual.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I do have one thing to criticize here where Yoru's like, wow, we turned it into a sword without even touching it. Yoru, you were touching your apartment. You were in the apartment.
But was she really? Maybe it doesn't work through her feet, Jordan.
Well, one of her arms was touching the apartment.
Oh, fuck, that's 600. I don't know if it's still her arm right now.
I don't think that counts. I think it's probably meant to be hands, and in that case, sure.
Yeah, that is still attached to her body.
Yes.
I do love how the arm parallel is really cool. It does feel like a movie transition where you see Quan Chi getting shot and then it cuts to the arm being sliced off, and you could see exactly how a movie would have transitioned between those two scenes.
Oh yeah, no, it was clever. It was well done. I also think this is the first time we've seen Yoshida actually seem kind of like worried.
I mean, I could definitely see that Yoshida, I mean, you don't last as long as he does without being like, all right, this is unwinnable. I'm out. I mean, even Makima called that shit. Or hashback to Madoka, the smartest person in Chainsaw Man. Do you remember that guy?
Yeah, he was just like, I'm out. And it's like, yeah, smart, dude. That's the smartest thing anybody has done in this series.
It's like how we, in our One Piece RPG, we just were like, all right, we're out. We can't take on these guys. And that's how we lived in our day. That is the trope I live with in my life every single day.
Look, I was the captain and we were fighting Germa. And I was like, none of us are good at fighting. We should leave.
That was a fun all-star game where it was, so for context, it was Luke, a.k.a. Kultrig, ran a One Piece RPG he's created. It was me, Jordan, Shen, Tekking 101, and Dingo, the creator of Scoob and Shag, where we were a bunch of pirates. So that was a lot of fun. I think the recording got fucked up. I'm really sorry. We're going to do it again, so I will definitely try and record at that time. We did also stream it to the Discord, but we kind of didn't tell anyone.
Unfortunately, I will have to be quieter because
you were having too much fun.
I was so loud that everybody in my house heard me.
Jeez. But I do want to say one thing I really do enjoy about this chapter is I like the parallel where Quan Chi actually breaks her legs jumping out of a building and has to regenerate. But you can see that Yoru has become so powerful, the same fall doesn't even affect her. So you really can see that she is not kidding, that she is really, really getting her power back.
Once again, like, when this part is over, I would love to read the whole thing from front to back because, like, yeah, that was, like, a few chapters ago and might have even been the last chapter. I don't know. But, yeah, like, I didn't remember that reading this here going, like, a week or two later. Like, yeah, but, like, reading the whole thing in one shot, you would pick up something like that.
Yeah, I always try, because Fujimoto is atypical in that he really does like referencing the prior chapters. So I always try and keep in mind when there are references like that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to toss in, or that was really all the notes I had for this chapter?
That's kind of everything I got.
Well then, Jordan, I want to say thank you so much for being a great co-host on the show.
Oh, thank you so much, David, for also being a great co-host. Thank you so much for the work that you do in the editing. Thank you.
Anytime, babe. And I appreciate the wedding gift. That was very kind of you.
Oh, no problem.
And you can find us on Twitter at Shonen Flopcast, Tumblr Shonen-Flop, and our website ShonenFlop.com. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, wherever else you get your podcast. Props to Shannon for the awesome cover art. You can find her online at illuminyatea. As a reminder, you can join us every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern when there's a new chapter out. Find a link to it in the show notes or on our site. And stay tuned for next week. We are doing a rerun because I'm getting married. Wedding.
Yeah.
Oh man, Tokyo Demon Bride Shinobi story where unironically someone said, do you have the courage to not shit your pants?
Right, yes.
That's the biggest takeaway from that series.
God, I forgot about that or something. Oh, God, how could I forget? How the fuck could I forget?
And speaking of waifu, okay, so I think that Rize is really just about to come back. It's just a matter of time. I mean, they've shown all of the...
Zip it. David, the Chainsaw Minute's passed, so shut up.
Bye.
Bye.